French President Nicolas Sarkozy has been found guilty on corruption charges. He was charged with ignoring warnings and spending more than 20 million euros over the legal limit on his failed 2012 campaign. The 66-year-old has been caught up in multiple investigations since being voted out of office after a single presidential term. This is the second guilty verdict Sarkozy has been handed just this year. In March, he was found guilty of attempting to secure favors from a judge. For more, I'm joined on set by Armen Georgian, our international affairs editor. Armen, we are still waiting on sentencing, so we don't know that yet. But what can you tell us about the verdict so far and why he was found guilty?
Yeah, before we come to that, just a quick, just to restate for our viewers what this case really relates to, the so-called Big Malian file, which is an investigation into the party's spending, that's to say the Conservative Party, then known as the UMP, now known as the Republicans, and this is in relation to the 2012 presidential campaign when Sarkozy was already president. Of course, he had been voted in 2007, and 2012 he tried to get re-elected, but he lost to François Hollande, and it was obvious during that campaign that his re-election was not going according to plan, but he kept going with these big, lavish rallies, which cost a lot of money. Now, what the court in Paris has said today is that Nicolas Sarkozy, who was president at that time, received 2 warnings saying, we are overspending, we're going beyond the limit. And the court further decided that President Sarkozy, with all his political experience, could not have known what that meant in legal terms, that was going, in other words, that he could not have known that overspending like that would he couldn't not know that was violating campaign finance laws because he'd already been president and so forth. So that is essentially the crux of the argument, and that the court made its decision on that basis to find him guilty of illegal campaign financing. As you said, Charlie, we don't know how long the sentence is actually going to be, though. We have to wait actually a little bit longer, but I assume it won't take very long. And as you said, there's also the question of his previous conviction this March. So it's actually the second conviction now in the space of 6 months.
Do we know what he could potentially be facing, though, as far as sentencing?
Well, we know that the prosecutors were seeking a 6-month jail term. This particular offence carries a maximum sentence of a year in prison and a fine of nearly 4,000 euros. But prosecutors were seeking less than that, 6 months. In the case of the conviction in March, he actually didn't do any jail time, though he did receive an electronic bracelet, which is a very humiliating thing for anybody, particularly, I would say, for a former president of France. But all of this, Charlie, doesn't seem to have really sort of caught him off guard. I mean, he's continuing as if nothing's really happened. He's been signing books, as you can see in our pictures there. He's got a new book out. He's been traveling around giving interviews. He gave a big TV interview a few days ago. So it's as if he's sending the message, this is just water off a duck's back. It doesn't matter. But of course, we'll have to see. The crucial thing is what kind of sentence it will be. Will it be suspended, or will it be actual jail time? I don't want to speculate on that. We'll have to see. But we'll have to see whether Sarkozy again manages to, essentially, after we know what kind of sentence it is, whether he then manages just to continue living normally, which is, as I say, the message that he's been trying to send out, that all of this is, not stopping me doing all the things that I was planning to do, and I'm going to keep doing them. So we'll have to see how that pans out.
And we are expecting that sentencing shortly, and we will have our reporter from the courthouse when that does come down.